Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. My name is Mark Roden, and in today's video we are going to be going over the Mazda 3 and Mazda 6 third generation, the good, the bad, and the ugly. We recently did the good, bad, and ugly on the Mazda 3 and Mazda 6 first gen, second gen, and now today obviously we're going to be doing it on the third gen, and then we will finish it off obviously with the next good, bad, and ugly, doing it on the fourth gen, Mazda 3, Mazda 6. The way these videos work, in case you're new here, is first I go over basic information that you should know about the car. Things like the years made, the trim levels, things like that. Just whether it was rear-wheel drive, front-wheel drive, all-wheel drive, just basic info that I think you should know about the car. Then I get into what the community tends to do with them in terms of modifying them, if they drift them, street race them, drag race them, whatever it may be. Then I get into the good, the bad, and the ugly, which we'll go over when we get there. And then at the end of the video, I tell you my final thoughts and my overall rating out of 100 on the car, based on whatever situation that you are in. Sound good? Okie dokie. Media of the day is Mass Effect. I played this for the first time ever the other day. It's going to be going live on my Giggity Plays YouTube channel. Shameless plug. But I played it for the first time ever, like last week. And dude, it was kind of fun. I don't like this big I'm not a big sci-fi gamer. I don't like the big sci-fi stuff. But the world building, like the dialogue and stuff in it, was kind of addicting, to be honest. It's from 2007, so the graphics are absolutely horrible, and it's just like kind of janky. But it was not that bad, is what I'm trying to say. It was not that bad. Go give it a try if you haven't already. But without further ado, let's go into it with the Mazda 3 and Mazda 6 third gen, good, bad, and ugly. But like I said, the first thing that we need to talk about is just the basic information about the car. And so first off is the years made and the generation. It was made between the years 2013 to 2018, and it is obviously the third generation Mazda 3 or Mazda 6. And it goes by the chassis code BM, BN, or BY. I know it's kind of annoying. There's 3 different chassis codes that this car goes by, but those are the chassis codes for the car. But a 5-year runtime is pretty average, I would say, especially for a Mazda 3. As for the trim levels, for those who don't know, whenever we talk about trim levels on this channel, I only talk about trim levels that actually change in terms of performance, whether that be horsepower or engines. I don't talk about things that just change, basic things like if it has a sunroof or leather interior or stuff like that, because then we would be here all day. So for the trim levels, in ascending order, obviously, the base models, the cheap ones, are the iSV, the iSport, the iTouring, and the iGrand Touring. Those are all the base models, and they all come with a 2-liter inline-4 making 155 horsepower. Pretty average, obviously, nothing to write home about there, but those are commuter cars. They're not supposed to be that crazy in terms of their horsepower. The S Touring and the S Grand Touring both come with a 2.5-liter inline-4 making 184 horsepower, and that is plain and simple it. That is the best that you got in terms of performance trims in the Mazda 3 or Mazda 6 third gen, 184 horsepower. Yeah, there's no speed trims, and there's no V6 for the Mazda 6 either. This was the first generation to drop the V6 from the Mazda 6, unfortunately. And there is no speed trims for the car either, so yeah, 184 horsepower is the fastest you're going to get out of this car, unfortunately. As for the body styles, the car is offered as a 4-door sedan, a 4-door hatchback, a 4-door compact sedan, which is the Mazda 3 but in sedan form, and a 5-door wagon, which is the Mazda 6 but in wagon form. So you have a lot of different trim level or body styles, I guess you could say. There's no coupes or convertibles, but besides that, you have pretty much any body style that you could possibly think of available for you with the Mazda 3 or Mazda 6 third gen, so that's pretty good, obviously. As for the drivetrains, it is still available as front-wheel drive only, but they didn't get all-wheel drive until the newest one, the 4th generation Mazda 3. So yeah, unfortunately, these cars are still front-wheel drive only. There is no all-wheel drive trims for them. As for the transmissions, it is available with an automatic or a manual transmission, so, and it is a little harder to find the manuals, obviously, especially here in America, than the automatics, but there are manual options out there, so that's something. Manual transmission cars are obviously awesome, as we all know, and driving a Mazda 3 without a manual transmission just sounds like the most boring thing out there. As for the price, they range drastically, obviously, depending on the mileage, years, and whatever it may be. But you can find one for literally as low as like $5 grand. It's going to have higher mileage, obviously, probably closer to like 200,000 miles, and be like a 2013 first year Mazda 3, but you can find them for as low as $5 grand, or you can find them for as high as 15 grand if you're looking for a 2018 with like only 20,000 miles on the clock. Yeah, it can be up to like 15K. I would say the average price you're looking at paying for a third gen Mazda 3 is going to be right around like 8 to 10 grand. Right around that area is probably the gold standard for these cars. Lower mileage around like 80,000 miles, but it's going to be like a 2015, 2016, and that's probably what you're going to be looking at. As for the reliability and the gas mileage, they're decently reliable, but not as good as the first 2 generations, especially the transmissions in these cars. The transmissions in the third gen Mazda 3s are iffy, but they are still reliable cars. It's just that they're not as reliable as the first 2. And for the gas mileage, they get 22 miles per gallon combined, which is plain and simple insanely good. There's no arguing that. It is a commuter car, so it makes sense why they get such high gas mileage, but 32 miles per gallon combined is very, very good. But now let's talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly on the Mazda 3 or Mazda 6 3rd gen. And the way this works, in case you're new, is first we go over the good. These are just good things about the car. They're things that a salesman would tell you when you're walking into a Mazda dealership back in 2015 to get you to buy the car. Then we get into the bad. Those aren't actually bad things, it's just a fun play on words because of that movie, obviously. But they're more so an area where it's take it or leave it. It depends on the type of person you are, whether or not it affects you. Some of those things might be deal breakers for you, but some of them might not even matter whatsoever. And then we get into the ugly. Those are genuine problems that you're going to have to address within ownership of your car at some point. But like I said, let's start with the good. And the first thing for the good is the price. Yeah, I mean, $8,000. Again, I'm assuming you're probably going to be spending around $8 to $10,000 for one of these cars. And $8 to $10,000 for one of these cars, it's a relatively new car with a decent modern interior and stuff like that. It's pretty reliable. And it's going to get the job done. It's going to be a great commuter car for you. Is not bad. You like, yeah, you could definitely find better, but it's not horrible whatsoever, I would say. Next up is the body options. The fact that there's two sedans, one that's bigger, obviously, being the Mazda 6, and one that's smaller, being the Mazda 3 compact. There's a 5-door wagon, and there's a 4-door hatchback. It's just great. You know, you have plenty of options to choose from, no matter whatever it is you may need. If you need a whole lot of space and a lot of practicality, then you go with the 5-door wagon. But if you don't need that much space, that much practicality, you just want as much good gas mileage as you can, the best commuter car you could possibly get, then you get the 4-door compact sedan. That is the Mazda 3. So that's obviously great. Next up is the space. Obviously, this is particularly in the Mazda 6s, considering they're bigger cars, but even in the Mazda 3s, they do have decent space. They do have decent headroom and stuff like that. Maybe not for the back seats in the Mazda 3s, but for the Mazda 6s, the space is there. Next up is the reliability of the cars. Yeah, we've already mentioned this multiple times, but they are very reliable cars. They're, again, not as reliable as the first 2 generations, and actually not as reliable as the 4th generation, but they are still a reliable daily driver commuter car that is going to get the job done, that's not going to break the bank to own one of these cars. So that's obviously great. Next up is the price for parts. They're obviously extremely mass-produced cars, these cars. There's hundreds of thousands of Mazda 3s out there, and so because of that, there are hundreds of thousands of parts out there as well. The price, whenever something breaks on this car, is not going to break the bank. It is going to be very affordable. Next up is the cup holders. Again, people think I'm joking whenever I bring up the cup holders in my good, bad, and uglies, but it is something that you don't really think about until you buy the car, how important it is. But yeah, having decent sized cup holders is obviously pretty important, and especially if you're driving like a manual or something. And this car has them. It's a modern car, so yeah, it has decent sized cup holders. It can hold whatever drink it is that you got. Next up is they're pretty easy to work on for a modern car, I should say. Obviously, if you compare a 3rd gen Mazda 3 to a 1st gen Mazda 3, the 1st gen is going to be a whole lot easier to work on just because they don't have as many electronics and stuff like that going on there. But for a modern car, for a car during this time period, it is still a Japanese 4-cylinder. It's going to be pretty easy to work on. It's not going to be a nightmare. Next up is they are lightweight and offered with a manual transmission. For the car guys out there, this is an incredible thing. Obviously, we all love lightweight cars with manual transmissions, plain and simple. It's just fun, and this is one of those cars offered with that. Next up is they're very safe. Yeah, Mazda has a very good reputation for being just safe overall. And obviously they are still small cars, so if you get into a head-on collision with a Ford F-250, then you're probably not going to walk away from that very well, but they're still going to be pretty safe for most of your other fender benders and things like that. They also have all those kinds of crazy technology in them nowadays that help you like with lane assist and braking and all that crap. I personally hate that stuff, but it is there for safety purposes, and these cars do have them. And next up is they're not too old yet, so there's no real need to worry about rust or electronics failing just yet. Now, are the electronics going to fail pretty soon? Yeah, they're going to start to show their age for sure. Same with the rust and things like that, but they're only like 10 years old at this point, so you can still get them and not have to worry about like too many hidden problems, if that makes any sense. Like, that's the biggest problem with buying like a 90s or early 2000s car, is even if it looks good from the outside, you check the car, who knows, you might be driving down the road and it's going to give you a problem that you couldn't have seen just due to age. There's nothing wrong with the car, it's just the fact that that's what happens with. But now let's get into the bad. And like I said, these aren't actually bad things about the car. They're just things where it depends on the type of person you are, whether or not it affects you. First off is the sound. I put the sound here for the bad in every one of my good, bad, and uglies for those who don't know, because obviously sound is 100% personal preference. You could think the sound of an American V8 roaring is the best sound in the world, or you could think the sound of a little inline 4 Honda is the best sound in the world. Who knows? But it's obviously all 100% up to you, so I will let you decide with a clip of a Mazda 3 making some noise. Next up is the looks. Yeah, same thing with the sound. It's obviously 100% personal preference. I personally think every generation of the Mazda 3 looks actually very good. I think they're very good looking cars, especially for a commuter car. They look very good for commuter cars. But there are definitely going to be some people out there that think they look boring or even bad in some cases. So if that's you, then obviously this is not a great idea for you to buy. Next up is the aftermarket support for these cars. It's not there. Yeah, plain and simple, it's not really there. You don't have tons of companies making parts for it because they're not the best car for building power and things like that, and people know that, so they don't build power out of them. They're a commuter car, so not a lot of companies make parts for them. It's just kind of hard, which actually leads me into my next thing. The tuning potential of the car is also just not really there. The motors are not great for building power, unfortunately. Definitely not as good as the old Mazda Speed 3s. Can you get some extra power out of the motor? Absolutely, you can do that with any motor, but it's obviously not good. Next up is the stock performance of the cars isn't great. It isn't anything to write home about. 184 horsepower in the top of the line trims is in 2013, 2016, whatever. That's just nothing. It's a commuter car. It's not supposed to be crazy in terms of its stock performance, but yeah, the stock performance is just really not there. What I'm trying to say is these cars aren't really race cars, unfortunately. Next up is the interior build quality isn't great. It's a Japanese commuter car. What did you expect? Like, obviously, the interior build quality isn't going to be great. It's not going to be up to class with an S-Class or a 7 Series BMW or an Audi A8 or whatever, but it's still nice interior. Next up is they're not the most comfy cars out there. Actually, as a matter of fact, one of the biggest complaints on a lot of the forums is that it just feels very rough to drive. They feel very stiff and everything like that, and, you know, it's a little interesting. It's for car guys, that's not that big a deal. As a matter of fact, it's kind of what we're looking for, honestly, is we like to feel more connected to the road, and when feeling more connected to the road, that means you're not going to be as comfortable. But for anybody looking for a daily, obviously that might be a deal breaker. Is it like driving a freaking Humvee through the streets of Afghanistan? Obviously not, but it's not going to be like the most comfortable car in the world. Next up is the rear seats in the Mazda 3 are very small. If you're looking for a car that can carry like your children around or whatever it may be, the Mazda 6 is what you would probably be looking at. That's much more practical. So the Mazda 3 is a car where, yeah, it has rear seats, but they're more so there just if you absolutely need them. Next up is the fact that they're front wheel drive only. It's just, you know, again, there are going to be people out there that defend front wheel drive and say that front wheel drive is the superior drivetrain. I think most people would agree rear wheel drive or all wheel drive are just better, and that's what I would go with, but front wheel drive is the only one available on this car, unfortunately. Next up is some of the electronics are piss poor quality, which will make them finicky or laggy, like the infotainment system or rear view camera apparently are both very, very bad, and they just kind of lag a lot. It's like owning an Android phone. It's just not great, which is obviously not fun to deal with, and that also just kind of implies that later on in this car's life cycle, 10 years later down the road, when these cars are 20 years old, they're going to have a lot of electronic problems, which is obviously not great. And finally, for the bad, is the community behind this car might as well just not even exist. Like, the Mazda 3 community is already small just in general, but even the ones that do exist in the Mazda 3 community are usually Mazda 3 first gens or Mazda 3 second gen, Mazda Speed 3 owners, not the base model Mazda 3 third gen owners. So unfortunately, it's kind of hard to find like a community behind these cars. But now let's get into the ugly. And like I said, the ugly is genuine problems that you're going to have to address within ownership of your car that are just going to be kind of headaches. And first off, for the ugly is the automatic transmission isn't great in terms of fun or reliability. It's not the worst option out there. It's not a third gen Dodge Ram transmission, don't get me wrong, but they're not great either. The reliability isn't really there, and obviously they're not that fun since they're an automatic transmission. So if I were you, I would just get the manual. If you know how to drive a manual transmission, just get the manual. It's more reliable, it's more fun anyways. It's just overall the better trans. And finally, for the ugly is the motor mounts go easily. Motor mounts, listen, I've replaced like motor mounts on 3 different cars in my life. Every one of them were an absolute headache, much more of a headache than you would imagine them to be. I don't know why, but motor mounts are just so freaking annoying to work on, at least in the 3 cars I've worked on them in. And so I would just highly, like, this is just something that just is just so freaking annoying, not fun to replace at all. And so I thought it was worthy of putting in the ugly. But now let's get into my ratings and final thoughts on the Mazda 3 or Mazda 6 third generation. Like, this is a new thing we're doing on The Good, Bad, and Ugly, where we find 10 different things that people might be looking for when looking at buying a new car, and we give them a rating out of 10, which then gives us a rating out of 100 at the end once we add them all up, and that is our number rating for the car. And then the final thoughts are just whether or not I think you should buy the car depending on the current situation you are in. So let's get into the ratings. First off is the reliability. I gave the car a 5 out of 10 for reliability. It's pretty much right there average. The transmission has some problems for sure, but the motor is pretty much fine. It's pretty much an average reliability rating. Nothing crazy, but nothing horrible either. Next up is the performance. I gave this a 4 out of 10, slightly below average, because the car is still lightweight, so you could still have a little bit of fun with the car in terms of its performance. 184 horsepower is still something, you know what I mean? Like 184 horsepower, it's not good. You're not going to say that's a sports car number, don't get me wrong. But in a lightweight little hatchback, it's not bad. It is not horrible. So I'm giving it a 4 out of 10. It's definitely below average, but not terrible. Next up is the tuning potential, making this car make even more power, make it even more fun. I'm giving this a 3 out of 10. Plain and simple, this is just not great for the car. Just because the car is lightweight with a manual transmission, I'm going to give it a little bit more than a 1 out of 10, but it definitely not great here. Next up is the comfort / luxury of the car. 5 out of 10. Yeah, they're not known for that. It's a Mazda 3. It's an economy car. It's a commuter car. The comfort and luxury in this car is going to be exactly average, exactly how you would expect it to be. Next up is the affordability. I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. Slightly above average. I think it's it's a slightly better deal than most cars out there for its price right now, which is obviously good. Next up is the practicality, 7 out of 10, especially if you get a Mazda 6, they're even better, but the Mazda 3s are perfectly fine too. You have plenty of space, plenty of headroom, plenty of legroom and stuff like that. The practicality behind these cars is absolutely there. It's definitely better than average, I would say. Next up is the aura or status, the clout that you can get with your Mazda 3, Mazda 6, 3rd gen, something that people do care about, so I'm putting it here. And I'm giving it a 3 out of 10. It's a Mazda 3, man. I mean, I don't want to offend any Mazda 3 owners. I like your car. I think it's a cool car. But most people aren't going to be like breaking their necks for being like, wow, it's a Mazda 3, you know what I mean? So I'm giving it a 3 out of 10. It's cooler than like a freaking Corolla, in my opinion, because it does look pretty good. But besides that, it's just a Mazda 3. Next up is the fun. I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10. It's exactly average here. I think there are definitely cars out there that are much more boring. And for a front wheel drive car, this is pretty fun. Like as front wheel drive modern cars is as fun as you're probably going to get, to be honest. So I'm giving it a 5 out of 10. Next up is the off-road capabilities, 3 out of 10. It's not what the car was built for, obviously. So I don't know if you were expecting it to be good at that, but if that's what you want, get a CX-7 or whatever they're called, CX-30s. I don't remember what they're called now, but those cars, the Mazda SUVs, get one of those. Those are what you're looking for. And finally is the safety. The safety I'm giving a 7 out of 10 too, actually. The 7 out of 10, definitely above average. Mazda is really well known for their safety as a matter of fact. And so, yeah, I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10, which gives us a grand total, by the way, of 48 out of 100, which is ever so slightly below average, which is pretty much exactly how I would describe this car. Average. It's an average car. It's a Mazda 3. It's a commuter car. It does some things really well, like the safety and practicality and reliability and affordability. It's a good daily driver, but obviously in terms of all the performance and fun and cool points of the car, it obviously lacks compared to other cars out there. So yeah, I think 48 out of 100 is a perfect overall score for the car. So now let's get into my final thoughts though. Do I think that you should buy the car depending on the current situation that you are in? If you're looking for a daily driver, all you care about is getting from point A to point B. You don't care how cool your car is or how fun your car is. Definitely, they're great dailies that are also still a little bit cool. They're a little bit of a different option than a Civic or a Camry or a Corolla, and I think they're great for you. Next up is the car guys looking for daily drivers. Obviously, we tell ourselves that we're going to buy a daily driver, but we always buy the cars that are slightly more fun and have a little bit of maybe a little bit more unreliable than a regular daily driver, but in return we get a little bit of satisfaction out of it. Again, not a bad option for us. I feel like we might get a little bit bored of it after a while though, to be honest, just due to the fact that it doesn't really make much power and it can't make much more power. And since we are prone to work on our own cars rather than bringing them to a shop, maybe the electronics might get a little bit annoying for us at some point. But I definitely don't think it's a horrible option for car guys looking for a daily. As for the Sunday cruiser folks, though, the guys are just going to take it out once a week and enjoy it with their wives, drive up to a mountain, take some pictures of it, whatever it may be. No, they're commuter cars. There's no need to really specialize it, I guess you could say. Just drive it every day. There's no reason to park it in your garage for a week and drive it on Sundays. It doesn't really make much sense. As for the race car / project car folks, so the guys that want something to build up and turn it into something absolutely insane and have a ton of fun with the car, I would love to see more of these built up. Don't get me wrong, they're really cool cars, but they just simply put aren't the best for it, unfortunately. Maybe good for like a 2.3 turbo swap though. Like if you could find a Mazda Speed 3 2.3T and swap it into this car, maybe it'll be good for that, I guess. But at that point, why not just get the Mazda Speed 3 that has the 2.3T in it already and just do that one? You know what I mean? I feel like that's just easier. So I would love to see them built up more often because they are cool cars, but they're just not the best for it. But ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of today's video on the good, the bad, and the ugly on the Mazda 3 or Mazda 6 3rd generation. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel for more content just like this. Let me know what other videos I'd see in the comment section down below. Check the links in the description for any of my other social medias or any of my other YouTube channels or any of that great mumbo jumbo. And thank you guys so much for watching. I do really appreciate it. As you guys know, the next good, bad, and ugly video is going to be on the Mazda 3 and Mazda 6 4th gen. But after that, I'm always open for suggestions when it comes to good, bad, and uglies and the 5 reasons you should and 5 reasons reasons you should not buy videos, as I always do based on recommendations. So let me know what you guys are thinking for that. Either way, tomorrow's video I believe is going to be, I don't think it's going to be a 5 reasons you should and 5 reasons you should not buy video. No, it's not. It's going to be, oh yeah, it's going to be the top 25 best cars under 7 grand. We did a top 25 best cars under 3 grand for like first time car buyers, like high schoolers, whatever it may be. And a lot of guys were saying we should do this exact same video but with a slightly higher budget. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do that exact same video but with a slightly higher budget of 7K, top 25 best cheap cars for under 7K, for high schoolers, first cars, whatever you want to call them. But also we're gonna throw in a little bit of a twist. None of those 25 cars can be any of the same 25 cars from the last video of the ones under 3K. That way I can't do any duplicates, so we have to go with 25 new cars to change it up a little bit. So that's what's gonna be tomorrow's video. But yeah, I guess that's pretty much it, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate it. Das Vidania, and have a nice night.